Hey guys, how's it going? And thanks for coming. I'm Nick, and this is Real Life Money, where we talk about real life and money because schools aren't doing that. So let's get started. In this video, we're going over how to invest for beginners. Now, before we get started, you do not have to be rich. You don't need $10,000 to start. You don't need $1,000 to start. Some instances you don't need $100. Even sometimes you could do $5. You could really make this as easy or difficult as you want. Now, what is investing? Well, you can invest in a lot of different things. But in this video, I'm going to be focusing on the stock market and stocks. Now, many think that when you buy a stock, it could either double or go to zero. That's it. Gambling. You could compare this kind of thinking to like blackjack. When you have a 12 and it flips and it's a king and you have 22, you're like... But it is not like that. There's a concept, risk and return. So basically, with more risk, you'll get more return. If you have less risk, you'll get less return. So the most risk, absolute most risk that a lot of people might think of the stock market like is penny stocks. It's literally like a penny. So if it goes up 1 cent, you double your money. If it goes to nothing, you lose everything. Now, there are penny stocks out there. I never dealt with them. I wouldn't suggest them for beginners, but that's not the only type of stock out there. There are other stocks with big companies, and the probability of those big companies going to zero or being bankrupt is unlikely. An easy example is, think of Apple. If you think Apple is going bankrupt anytime soon, I don't know what to tell you. So going back to that risk and return, with a little less risk, like not penny stocks, but large companies, there is less risk, but you still have decent returns. Better than a savings account. Now, I personally like the idea of investing so much because you use your money to work for you. Every single dollar is like a worker to you. You're like hiring someone. So they go and make you money. I don't want to make my own money my whole life. Come on. So your money makes you money. Like you could literally make money while you're dumping, while you're sleeping, or even while you're eating your Fruit Loops. So the next question is, where do you do it? Where do you put your money? Do you use some type of brokerage, maybe a certain bank? Where do you go? Now, there are a lot of banks and brokerages out there, but that's not like the deciding factor. The fact of that you should just do it. You see, many people have good ideas. Like, investing is a great idea, but only a few actually act upon their ideas. Now, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'll give you some names of some places you could use. I'll give you some ideas of what I use too. We're all friends here. Now, one of the largest places that a lot of people actually suggest, and I would as well, because of their low fees, I actually have a retirement account there, is called Vanguard. I would suggest it. I'll leave all these names in the description. You could all check them out. You don't have to go crazy. Like, honestly, just look at them. So yeah, Vanguard is cool. They have low fees for their funds. That's another question. There are stocks and mutual funds. They're two different things. I have an actual video going over the difference of stocks and mutual funds. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check it out. Basically, a stock is just one company. Mutual fund is a bunch of different companies. So that's basically a finance 101 in college. You're welcome. So let's go into other names. There's Fidelity. I have some mutual funds with them actually. There's E-Trade. You could go there for stocks. There is Scottrade. I have a couple stocks with them. They're actually getting bought over by TD Ameritrade. But these are all different types of brokerages that you could invest with. It might seem like a lot. Deep breath. So to start, I would suggest just looking around. Go to Yahoo Finance, literally type in any company you could think of, and just check them out. See their stock price, look at the fancy graphs and the numbers, and yeah. Now I know there are also apps out there that you can use to invest as well. These could start as low as like $5. Maybe like the change that you would get back, instead of getting that change back, they invest that for you, or they like round it up to the next dollar and you invest that change. I never really did those. If you guys want, I could maybe check them out. If you have any ideas, comments. But here's the cool idea, guys, is that when you set this up, you could have a monthly contribution. So every month, it automatically gets taken out of your account and just gets invested for you. You can make it so simple, you don't even have to think about it, and it happens. Now, personally, I would kind of suggest looking at your cash flow before investing. Look at how much money you're making and how much you're spending. If you're spending more than you're making, you kind of have to get rid of some debt first. But if you just want to like throw $100 in to see what happens, go for it. Now with these monthly contributions, you can have this automatic thing come straight out of your account and into investing. Whatever you choose, the stock market, mutual funds, whatever. When you do this, we could use compound interest. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. It makes your interest earn interest, and it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. It's a long process. But the fact is that you don't need much. If you start out with whatever little you have, that's not the main factor. The main factor for compound interest is the amount of time. It grows like this. It starts out slow, but over time it just... Now, the idea of compound interest really changed my life. Like, before knowing this, like, having $1 million was like, there was no way in hell that I'm having $1 million in my lifetime. And then when I started doing research and finding out about this, I'm like, you know what? That's possible. It's not only possible, it's easy, especially if you have that automatic payment coming out and investing every single month. So if you guys are around my age, like in your 20s or even younger, I just made you multi-millionaires. You're welcome. But seriously, I'm glad I learned this so early on, and I want to teach you guys the same thing. So the idea of investing is great. Compound interest, unfortunately, it does take time, but it will happen. So when you have that time, you could grow something incredible, like multi-millionaire. My next and last tip that I kind of want to mention is that it is very difficult to time the market. It is almost impossible to get in at the very, very bottom and get out at the very, very top. There are professionals out there that can't do it. So no matter what happens, keep investing, keep putting money into it, and just don't worry about it, let it grow. So those are the investing basics, guys. I'm not going into too much. I will have other videos going into other aspects. I'm planning on some videos actually going into different like mutual funds to actually look at, or whatever. So now you know more than the majority of people out there, guys. So go get them. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Real Life Money. We go over these types of topics because schools simply aren't doing that. And I think that's it. Yeah. So leave a comment if you like, and I'll see you in the next one.